listening to Phantasm Podcast, a horror death metal podcast for the old school. Join your hosts, Corey Gorechrist and Dr. Vincent West, as they stuff horror movie reviews and death metal interviews all in one body bag. Listen on iTunes, subscribe on YouTube, and like on Facebook. And head over to outlandermedia.net for more.
This is Ben from Goatwhore, and you're listening to Dr. Vincent West on the Phantasm Podcast.
Phantasm.
Dr. Vincent West with the Phantasm Podcast. I'm here today with my favorite band, vocalist for my favorite band, Ben from Goatwhore. What's up, man?
What's going on, man?
Awesome. Thank you for doing this. Really appreciate it. Kind of impromptu. And so I haven't seen you guys since I saw you with Venom Inc. And what all's been going on in the world of Goatwhore?
Wait, holy shit. When was that? 2017?
October 2017, yeah.
Damn, yeah, that's fucking wild, man.
It's been a minute. Well, and I'll remind you something funny about that show. We were standing out there, and there was Backyard Babies. Is that the name of that band?
You guys were in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
At the newer
Babies.
Butcher Babies, that's it.
Yes,
and we were being silly about that.
It's that place, it's the Masquerade, and there's like 3 venues.
Yeah.
And the Butcher Babies and somebody else were playing one, and we were playing with Venom Inc. on. Yes, I remember that now, clearly. Yes.
That's hilarious.
Yes, because I remember Sammy taking a picture with the 2 chicks that front the band.
He did.
Yeah, right out. Because we were outside and they had a bus, and we were in the van and trailer, of course. And
yeah, we were over on like a sidewalk.
Yeah, we were like right on the side of their bus.
Yeah.
And they came out and he's like, I'm going to take a picture with him. So I took his phone and took a picture with him. I was like, this is
hilarious. It was great. And I'm sure that tour was awesome, getting a tour with those guys.
Oh, yeah, it was awesome. You know, it's like, if you look at our past and like the shows we got to play, it's stuff definitely when we were younger, we were never conceived, like to do that. Like when we toured with Celtic Frost for Monotheists, and
sure,
we played a couple of shows with Emperor, and we did the Venom. Like we did actually play with both fucking parts of Venom. We played with the Kronos Venom, and we played with Venom Inc.
You've done both now.
Yeah,
so that's awesome.
It's like we've kind of covered a lot of terrain with bands that were heavy influences of ours through time, and we actually play with it. So it's like, I think there's a lot of bucket lists knocked off there that you would never conceive would have been bucket lists. I mean, dude, there's a lot of bands you grow up listening to and they don't even exist anymore. So when you're growing up with a band like Celtic Frost and then they kind of disbanded, you never thought they would kind of get back together and do things, and you would get a chance to do that. Same thing with Venom, and it's really cool when you finally get to do it. I mean, both experiences with Venom, from the Kronos side and from the other side were really good.
Oh yeah, both those. Their new Venom record's actually pretty cool. The Kronos Venom one, that's really good. It's got some cool stuff on
both of it's fine. I wish they just put away their BS and just do it proper, but whatever. Everybody's got their own little weird things that they have. But both tours are really cool. I had a good time on both of them, so I had a good time on all that shit. But that's a lot of cool shit we've got to really open up for.
Sure.
Now the only thing we could think of that would really be the pinnacle of it is Judas Priest, Slayer, Slayer isn't going to happen because they're about to call it a day, so.
My dream tour for you all, and they've got a new record coming out, is you guys with Possessed.
That would be pretty sick, too.
Oh, yeah. Man, that would be.
I love Possessed when I was younger, too. Big time, dude. Fucking Eyes of Horror and the Gates of... Dude, fucking... The shit was fucking awesome.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
There was 2 bands that were really big for me when I was a kid, in that kind of era, and it was Possessed and Dark Angel.
Oh, Dark Angel's great.
And Dark Angel was just one of these fucking... I remember just listening to it, and just I met Gene Hoglan numerous times, and he's the fucking nicest, coolest motherfucker, and I definitely believe, the highest, as far as you know, when everybody talks about drummers and metal and everything, I feel like he is so underrated. Like, people overlook the stuff that he's done and his involvement with things through the history of metal. It's like, dude's phenomenal. He's a phenomenal drummer, and he's been a part of so many fucking important things within metal.
Oh, sure.
You know, so I'm like, sometimes when I read shit and they talk about drum, I'm like, dude, Gene Hogger could play that shit with fucking eyes closed, just fucking cooking a pancake and some other shit at the same time. Whatever. Dude's like fucking impressive. And he's a fucking really cool fucking dude, so fuck that.
Yeah, it's awesome. And I mean, I think it's the first time I got to see him play. I saw him play with Death on the Individual Thought Patterns tour, and I was just like, holy shit.
Yeah, I got to see him play with Death. I got to see him play with Strappy on Lead. I never got to see him play with Dark Angel.
Yeah,
except on, you know, Ultimate Revenge too. You know,
well, sure,
like that. That's about it. But you know, there's different little things I've seen him play with, and it's fucking awesome. And like I said, I mean, Death Clock too. I saw him play with Death Clock.
What was that? That was cool, I bet.
Yeah, well, I was on tour with the other band. I was in Soul and Green, and we were out with that. And it's that's what makes you like really see how much of a fucking awesome drummer he is too, because he was like the metronome for the whole show, because they have the screen in the background when they play. Well, he in his headphones is the click track for the whole thing, so he keeps the motion along with the fucking screen. So it's like you're the drummer, but you're also keeping the whole thing in order. You know.
Sure.
It's just fucking awesome, man. That's where I really got to like talk to him. And when I first met him, I think it was at his little venue in California. He was at a Soul and Green show, and he came out, and I was talking. I was like, dude, Gene Hoglan is fucking here, and he liked the band and stuff like that. And I was like, that's fucking awesome, man.
It's amazing.
And he was really cool, and you know, and ever since, every now and then I see him here and there, and you know, we chat and stuff like that. But he's fucking awesome, man. Awesome fucking drummer, definitely fucking amazing.
I was going to ask you, too, what was the Sepultura tour like?
In Europe?
Yeah.
That was pretty good, man. I didn't know what to expect, you know, because, you know, going to Europe and touring in the States is definitely two different worlds.
Sure.
You know, and bands that don't do so well here do really good there, and some bands that do really good there don't do so well here.
Sure.
And then there's bands that do well here and don't do good in Europe. But it was interesting. It was Sepultura, Obscura, us, and Fit for an Autopsy, which is a real diverse kind of unique package. But the shows were awesome, and Sepultura's fucking audiences are fucking really big in Europe, and like a great deal of the shows were sold out.
That's awesome.
And they were really packed. But we did really good. We got a lot of good response. I broke my leg and foot 4 or 5 days into the tour.
Holy shit.
And the rest of the tour, I sat on a guitar head case and played. Like, if you go back and look at pictures, you'll see, like, I'm sitting on this fucking thing.
Oh, wow.
And, like, I just wore a leather jacket every night and played in it and fucking sat on head case. And one leg had a cast, and my left foot was broken, but I was kind of utilizing it. Because when I went to the hospital, because it happened in Rome, Italy, in this ramp door on the trailer on the bus, the hydraulics went out and it came down and it hit me and threw me back and it landed on my leg and foot. So
holy shit.
I went to the hospital and they said the leg was broken, but they said the foot was just bruised. But when I got home from tour and I went back to the doctors to do a checkup on everything, and they were like, your foot's broken too, your left foot's broken too. And I was like, oh, awesome. So I was like trekking around Europe on crutches on my left foot while it was swollen. It was hurt like a motherfucker, but I was like, whatever. It was the tour was cool, man, and everybody was helpful during the experience and stuff. So all the bands, you know, the guys in Fit for an Autopsy helped out a lot. Cool. Like, I mean, I would have to like kind of wait on the bus. Everybody would go in the venue and they assess it and they go, okay, you know, the dressing room's 3 flights up and the stage is on the ground level, and you know, so what do you want to do? And I'd be like, all right, let's just do this, you know. And people would kind of help me in, you know, because it was snowing a lot during that tour too.
Really?
And so sometimes I'd be like, all right, so they'd throw me like on a rolling case and roll me into the venue or something. So, but all the guys in all the bands, you know, Obscura, even the Sepultura guys are really helpful. Like, they had a show where our dressing, like the dressing room for Fit for an Autopsy, Goatwhore, and Obscura was like 3 levels up, and their dressing room was right behind the stage. And they were like, why don't you just come stay in our dressing room until you have to play, and after you play, so you don't have to go all the way up there and then come back down. And so everybody was really helpful in the whole situation. It was really cool.
Andreas and Derek are great guys.
Yeah. And so And the tour was awesome, man. It was really fucking cool, man. The whole outcome of it was really cool.
And then y'all did a big track, just recapping this just real quick, with Dying Fetus over there as well, right?
Yeah.
How did that go?
Yeah, that was good too, man. Yeah, that was a long tour when we did that with Dying Fetus. That was like, I want to say like about a month and a half or something, man. It was pretty extensive. And those shows were really good too. So it's like you get to get put in front of a lot of different, metal's got so many different roots to it.
Sure.
Everywhere in the world. So it's like you could do a tour and you can play in front of people, and then you can do a tour with another, like you can go out with Sepultura, and then you can go out with Dying Fetus, and you can have all new faces both times because of different crowds that are into different aspects within metal. So it's really cool to kind of have that kind of diversity to it too. And it's unique too because Goatwhore kind of does have a little bit diversity within it, like we have our death metal, black metal, thrash, so we can fluctuate between these kind of different tours instead of being stamped into one kind of style.
Sure. And then anything coming up tour-wise that you want to talk about that you guys are
all we got right now is like we're working on new material. So we're just doing like a few little things here, like this little thing's just like 4 shows we're doing here in Johnson City tonight, and then tomorrow we're playing in Newport, Kentucky. It's like right across the river from Cincinnati. And then Saturday we're playing up in Michigan, right outside of Detroit. It's this festival called the Brews.
That's
drinking
cool.
And brews like fighting fest.
Oh wow!
Brews and Brews Fest. So we're playing up there with Battlecross and the Convalescence and some other bands.
Cool.
And then we come back down. We do Huntington, West Virginia on Sunday, and then we head back home. And then all of April we'll just be kind of working on stuff, throwing around ideas. And then May we have a couple of weekend shows like New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Gulfport, Mississippi, another beer festival. Atlanta, Georgia, and then
when are you playing it? We'll come up for that.
That's May 17th. It's at the Drunken Unicorn.
We'll be down there. We'll come see it. We used to you all playing at the Earl usually.
Yeah. No, Drunken Unicorn's pretty crazy. It's kind of small, but it's
awesome.
Really fun.
We'll be there for that too. So we'll come up from that.
We got like a sporadic other little things throughout the year. Like we're doing Psycho Las Vegas, and
cool.
We're doing Austin Terror Fest, and we have a few other little things here and there, but mostly focus on working on new stuff. We're trying to get in the studio possibly January next year.
Nice.
To record. We're probably about maybe 5 songs in to the writing, getting things locked in and dialed on. So yeah. I mean, it's going really good.
Are y'all going to stick with the same production that you did last time, or? Yeah,
we're kind of like working on that right now. We're trying to go over things and see what's going on, but we're probably going to stick pretty close to that. There's you always want to change things,
Sure.
Like we were talking and we were trying to like on this next record, we really want to focus on like, so each person in the band, like what Goatwhore record do you think presents what you do? Like Sammy, which record do you think presents your guitar sound, A lot of it sways towards Carving Out the Eyes of God because it's
sure.
That's just like chainsaw sound.
Right.
It is. Not against the other records, but I think that record kind of represents his guitar tone the most.
Sure.
And then Zach really likes the drums on the new one. And the new one, the Vengeful Ascension came out really well, and the drums came out really awesome on it. It really showed his abilities on it, but also the sound of it was fucking good. So vocally, I mean, I'm really cool with anything, but I really liked working with Jarrett on Vengeful Ascension doing the vocals. So I'm really interested in, going to him again. And even if it's just for the vocals or, we're doing the whole thing with him or what's going on, we haven't really got to the point to lock in, that whole thing. But we've been talking about it. And Jarrett tours with us, so we discuss a lot of things.
That's awesome, yeah.
So we go over a lot of stuff and we sort it out. So, and it's not even that. It's like we go to, like when we did Vengeful Ascension, we went to a studio in Illinois. And, Jarrett was with us there. So I think it's more or less trying to find maybe a different studio. Like we found a local studio in New Orleans that we might try this time.
Oh, cool.
So just to kind of, instead of having to leave town and do things kind of more focused around home. So there's just some little things there, but I think it's on this next record to be more focus of what did you like when out of all the records, and what do you want your thing to sound like?
Right,
what do you
sure.
want your thing to be? We know we have all these records, but you got to have a definitive one where you feel like it represents you the most. So we're kind of just cycling through that. I think the idea of actually locking in the place and all the other like details haven't really come to a head yet because we're so focused on like working on the material and focus on that kind of idea.
So you guys are still in the writing stage.
Yeah. Very much so.
So excited to hear it. Yeah, that last year was really cool, and I interviewed Eric Rutan back in December, and he was talking. Spoke so highly of you guys. And
dude, when we worked with Rutan, it was really fucking awesome.
He fucking loves the shit out of you guys. It's like we were talking.
He was. We did some really fucking awesome records with him, man. And like I remember doing interviews around Vengeful, and people were asking, and they're like, "Is there something bad?" It's like there was nothing bad. We just took a different route. We just did something different and tried to go down a different path and see what else we could do. That's all it was. It was nothing. There was no bad blood or anything. Everybody fucking gets along fine.
Oh, no. Reason I'm such a huge fan of his, to me, he's like the modern Scott Burns, So I was telling him that. He's like, you're too kind.
I sent him a message recently, actually, because it was funny. I was listening to that new Hate Eternal. And when we were in the studio for the earlier records, like Haunting Curse and Carving, we always bust his balls about guitars. Like, guitars need to be up more in the mix. Like, a lot of early Hate Eternal records, the guitars were kind of low, and we'd fuck with him about that. And, like, the new record, you can hear the guitars really good on it. Even the last Hate Eternal record. And, I sent him a text, and I was like, dude, you can finally hear the fucking guitars on the Hate Eternal record. He's like, I know, man, I can't believe it. I was like, it took this long to bring that. I was like, it was so funny because the thing about it is he's such a really cool dude that when he was in the studio doing Hate Eternal records and he had Roddy playing drums, and he was so focused on bringing out Roddy in the mix, he kind of left a lot of things in the back. And it's like, it's all like Derek Roddy was fucking really good and all, but a band's a band and everything should be equivalent when it comes out, It's just like there should be no one that's over anything else. Right. It should be all like proper. And I think he got really involved with, focusing on Roddy, and he kind of left his guitar in the back, And it's like, dude, you're just as crucial an element to this as he is. Y'all make it work like that. And then, they split up, and it was kind of this weird thing. But, life goes on, and he found people to fill the fucking shoes and do things,
When we saw him with Cannibal, and this is no disrespect to them, they blew them off this. I mean, he was just in the fucking zone, man. He was just complete raw death metal that night.
Yeah,
I was just like, and he had John from Origin drumming for him, and then I guess some guy that works in his studio at Mana that playing bass for him, whatever. It was fucking fantastic. He's always great.
No, he's got really good people. He did have to go through a phase with finding the people, and it's hard because the Hate Eternal shit isn't easy. It's not easy at all, as far as playing.
It'd have to be.
But I feel like in this day and age, there's more and more people with that ability, so it's been a little bit easier for him to kind of get somebody in there back instead of back then when there's only a few like Derek Roddy and all those kind of people were slim and far between. But now you got so many more people that kind of pull that kind of idea off. But I think the new record he did for Hate Eternal sounds fucking awesome. I think the guitars sound great. I was so stoked. I was just like, finally have the guitars up on the record, man. Because we always said that, like when we were doing Goatwhore, we would kind of battle it out a little bit because, he's from that death metal school. And I mean, we all grew up with death metal, but we also listen to, we have black metal and thrash, but we also have that like rock and roll element in Goatwhore, or we call it black and roll or whatever.
Yeah.
And we're like, guitars are important. Come up, it's like rock and roll. It's like AC/DC. It's like, bring the guitars up. Right. We'd be by the board and he'd be fucking with it, and we'd be by that little knob and we'd be pushing the little thing. He goes, don't touch that, man. He's like, needs to come up just a little bit more, man. Just needs to come up. But I think us being in the studio with a bunch, he was like, yeah, the guitars need to come up, man. The guitars need to come up.
Well, we were asking him about Vengeful, and he's just like, man, those guys, just whatever they do, I fucking love them. And he spoke real highly. It was really cool.
He's a great dude, man. I have no fucking...
He loved working with you guys. Because I told him, I was like, all that stuff you all did with him was
We did some really unique stuff. From the first record we did with him all the way till fucking Constricting Rage, dude. There was a lot of different things, and we changed a lot of different things, and it was funny, like when we first went in the studio with him, I wouldn't say he was closed-minded, but he had his idea of what things were. But when we sat there, and because we're kind of a little different than like, the basic kind of idea of death metal.
Sure.
And, it kind of maybe opened it up a little more. And also his ability of working with different kinds of bands. He did an Agnostic Front album. He did, these things, and it starts opening up a person's mind. And they're like, holy shit. And now how can I take what Agnostic Front did and what I do with them and incorporate it with a death metal band? You know what I'm saying? So
sure.
He started to open up more and more about like his ideas and how he was going to do things because he was doing different kinds of projects. And I think that's great. I think that's the only way to kind of move forward in your abilities and everything, is to be able to have that expanding open mind to accept things and try things, And dude, when we got to the point of doing like Blood for the Master and Constricting Rage, he would be like, you know what? Let's not just write it off. Let's try it. Like, I remember one point we went in to do vocals for Blood for the Master, and I was just asking him about mics and the different variations, and he was just like, this is the mic. He goes, but you know what? He goes, let's pull out the different mics. Like, let's pull out the mic James Hetfield used. Let's pull out the mic this guy used in this band. Different ones we've read about. And he goes, let's try them. And he goes, the thing with vocals is there's certain mics that are beneficial for certain vocalists, And when we went back, we came all the way back around, went back to that same mic that we were using. It's just like the way my voice was and everything, it worked with that. So he got to a point definitely where he was like really open about, let's not just write this off. We are pressed for time, but let's try this to see if we are missing something.
Sure.
And sometimes you do come across something, you're like, holy shit, yeah, this is awesome. And sometimes you're like, all right, we know all of that shit doesn't work worth shit, so fuck it.
Right. Well, I mean, all this stuff came out great.
Yeah. Him and Sam, the thing that was cool too is like him and Sammy, both guitar players, when they would do this stuff, they would get into a lot of, different things. It was pretty funny, man.
Oh, I'm sure. He was saying that y'all had a lot of fun, to make those records. Like I said,
and it was unique because like when we were working with Jarrett and then working with Eric, they both actually kind of have some similarities, but then they're different in aspects, which is good because it shows like different engineers and the way they think and how they perceive things, Like working with Jared, there was a lot of really cool things, he came up with and presented out there. And he was like Eric Duba. He was like, well, let's try this. Let's see what this is like. And let's do this. And it's really cool because there's some engineers that are just like, this is the way I do it. This is the way it's going to happen. And let's go do it. Well, I don't really like that. That's how it's going to be. This is what's just like, well, why don't we try this? And the other thing cool with Jarrett was that he's like our live sound engineer. So he's in a studio trying to hear and trying to project us like we sound on a stage.
Well, he did with Vengeful. You all were telling me that. And then when I finally got the record, I was like, he really pulled it off. Yeah. Like, it was like, wow.
Because he's from, you know what I'm saying? It's like, some people would be like, you're a live engineer. And I mean, he doesn't just do live music. He has a studio and he does a lot of records. He did that last Exhumed record. He did the last Wolfhammer record. He did the Gruesome records, so he's done a lot of stuff. 1349.
You're right.
It's like you get to that point where it's just like, well, this dude's familiar with you sound like in a fucking room, in a fucking venue. So why not let him listen in a studio and see if he can kind of push that out in the same way,
The B-side tracks that came with the special edition too were really cool, having the live tracks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love that you all did that. I
like the spellbook thing.
I love that. I've actually got it with me. I was actually having y'all sign it tonight because I'd never got it signed. But yeah, I loved all that, and I loved having the live tracks and everything. And you can tell if you listen to like the live cuts and go listen to Vengeful, you can tell. I don't mean the same songs, but you can hear where he captured that on the album. So I totally get why that.
So, that was definitely, I mean, I've never really read too many bands that do that, use like their live sound engineering for that, but whatever, it's always a different step you have to take and try something.
Definitely.
You never know until you try to, sort something out in a different way and see how it comes out. Sometimes it's bad, sometimes it's good, and that's the risk you have to take.
Well, it came out fantastic, and I'm so excited. Now, it's like getting a sequel to Vengeful. So you guys, whatever you end up doing, production wants to hear the live sound again captured on album. So that's going to be really exciting. And then I wanted to ask you real quick also, when you guys go to Europe, I've never got to ask you all this. I don't know how all the times we've done the interviews, our third interview, but never got to ask you this. Is there a specific festival or a part of Europe you guys like to play in where it's just like, wow, we're like, it's like you're back home. It's like you just love it somewhere over there.
Europe's different, man. It's a different monster, but there's
obviously not if your leg was broken, you haven't deal with all that, but maybe someplace.
Well, yeah, but it was still fun. I mean, I overlooked it and I stayed and I just sat on the head. It was fun, So I had a good time still, despite the situation. But I don't think I'm at the point yet where I can really pinpoint a place in Europe because we played a lot of shows and there's been a lot of really good shows and there's been a lot of, all right shows. But also I believe that as a band, we're still kind of doing our groundwork there, Like in the U.S., we toured so much, and we've done a lot of groundwork everywhere. So we've kind of set like a path. Where in Europe, we haven't done as much as we've done in the U.S., and we're still kind of paving that path.
Sure.
So the groundwork is still, being laid. And then, but the cool thing about Europe is, like, metal fans are fucking diehards, And they come out and they'll fucking be at the shows and they'll be totally fucking into it. And it's really cool. It's really fucking cool. But I don't have, like, a solid place yet, I mean, we've played really good shows in fucking England. But we played really good shows in fucking Germany and fucking Greece and Spain, so I don't have my solid one yet, so it's all kind of scattered.
Oh, cool.
And we played some festivals, and the festival, I have to say, Metal Days Festival is fucking really fucking cool though.
A variety on the bill, a lot of different types of metal.
That and just the way it's set up too is really cool. The one, it's just fucking, yeah, it's really cool, man.
And where's that one at? Is it?
It's in Slovenia.
Oh, wow.
So, am I right? Am I fucking freaking out in my brain or something right now? Damn.
I've heard of it, but I didn't know I wasn't sure where that one was, but I've definitely heard of it, though. I always think it's neat how they'll put all the different types of bands on the bills over there, and the Europeans just eat it up.
Yeah, Slovenia.
Nice.
The thing is, it's like in that part of Slovenia, there's all these mountains, and it's like kind of in the middle of the mountains, like in a little valley.
Damn.
And there's a little river that runs by it.
Oh, cool.
It's fucking awesome. It's really fucking cool, man.
It's all kind of its own little atmosphere that weekend. Well, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's a really sweet festival. I remember I saw Tokay in New Orleans, and I was talking to the drummer, and I was telling him I'd never played Metal Days, and we were set to play, and I told him, and he goes, "This is a fucking awesome festival in Europe." He goes, "You're going to love it." And I was like, "All right, cool." So
that's amazing. Yeah, that's there seems like you probably get to see a lot of cool black metal stuff that probably doesn't come over here too. A lot of different more obscure bands, even just other genres.
A lot of obscure stuff over there.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, hey man, I really appreciate you taking the time to do this
problem,
with us, man. You're like I said, our first interview we did together, it's got over like almost 5,000 hits. So it's like I really appreciate you doing this, and you're all my favorite band. So anytime I get a chance to talk to you, it's always a fucking honor, man.
Thank you, I appreciate it, man.
Well, yeah, and be looking for they're recording now. So sometime next year they're gonna kick your ass again.
We're gonna go record probably January or so next year, and then it'll probably come out like the spring or something. I don't know. So far ahead, we're not even trying to force that like idea. We're just like trying to like get everything done too, because we have this whole thing about we're not going to rush. We're gonna do it. We're gonna let it all flow out right.
Fuck yeah, that's awesome. Well, maybe we can catch up again in Atlanta.
Yeah,
in May. That'll be fucking awesome. Well, dude, thank you again for doing this. I really appreciate this.
I appreciate it.